So let us now start with the discussion of what exactly can we do to stop antimicrobial resistance. At an individual level, as a responsible citizen, what are the steps that we can take in order to curb this situation? First and foremost, it is important for us to understand that you have to start with protecting yourself and your own family. Infections which are caused by strains which exhibit antibiotic resistance, they are very difficult to treat, or at times there are no options to treat the infection as well. So the first step that we can have is to stop the infection from taking place. Stop the spread of the infection. So here, when we talk about stopping the spread of infection, we cannot completely avoid getting an infection. That's not possible. But surely we can take some precautionary steps in order to decrease the risk of getting an infection. So that is what our prime focus should be if we really want to curb on antimicrobial resistance. First and foremost, if you know about any infections occurring in your vicinity, if you know about anything that is spreading rapidly in your vicinity, then you should talk to your general physician. You should try and find out how does this infection spread. So ask them questions about it, and also get to know some of the precautionary measures so that you can avoid getting that infection. If you have any wounds or any cuts, then take care that you keep the wound clean. You also see to it that you are applying any kind of antiseptic that will ensure that no microorganisms enter your body through those cuts and wounds. Also, if you have any kind of physiological condition like diabetes, blood pressure, heart conditions, take precautionary measures because an infection can worsen that situation. Even during COVID, you would have seen that it was always told to people having physiological conditions to take extra precautions. See to it that you maintain hygiene. Take care of your hands, clean your hands time and again. That of course doesn't mean that you make use of sanitizers, but using a soap to clean your hands should be more than enough. Keeping your hand clean is one of the best precautionary measure that you can take to keep yourself healthy. Also, it would see to it that you would prevent spreading the germs to other people surrounding you as well. If there are any infections which are prevalent, it is very important that you get vaccinated if there are vaccinations available for the same. That could also include some resistant infections. So if there are any vaccinations available for it, it is always better to take those vaccinations. There are several infections for which precautionary vaccines are available, but there is lack of awareness about it. So always talking to your general physician and knowing about these vaccines will be helpful. Also, keep a check on your health. See if you are seeing any different signs or symptoms of any infection or any physiological condition for that matter. If you observe such signs and conditions, and if you think that you could have an infection, you can always go and visit your general physician. This is just a precaution so that if there is anything that is at the preliminary stage, you can curb it then and there. Because some of the infections turn out to be deadly and life-threatening in its later stages when it turns out to be chronic. So always taking extra precaution can be helpful. In such cases, see to it that you are not overdoing this. Many people become anxious about getting some kind of infection and get worried with even slightest of some signs and symptoms. Do not overdo it. Observe your signs and symptoms carefully. If you notice them to be troubling, if you notice them to be in a way increasing in its intensity, then take a call and visit your general physician. Use antibiotics very, very carefully. This is the most important measure that we all can take to deal with antimicrobial resistance. First and foremost, if you have any health condition, if you are suffering from any infection, always get the medicines prescribed from a physician only. Do not self-medicate. Do not suggest medicines to others who may be suffering from a similar kind of a condition as you are or you have in the past. A physician knows your condition well and will prescribe you the medication that is needed for that specific situation. Consume medications only till the time that has been prescribed to you. So if it is a dosage which has to be taken for 4 weeks, take it for 4 weeks. Do not miss any dosage. So for example, if you have been prescribed to consume that medicine twice a day, see to it that you are consuming it twice a day. Skipping a dosage can also contribute to antimicrobial resistance. Also see to it that you are not taking excess of the dosage and taking only the prescribed amount. And you have to see to it that that prescription is not used in the future. If you have a similar situation, go back to the general physician. If those medications are really necessary, the physician would re-prescribe it for you. Also, see to it that if you have pets at your home, have healthy habits around animals also. If you're touching them, feeding them, caring for your animals, see to it that you are cleaning your hands well. Also keep your animals healthy. If they have any vaccinations pending, see to it that they are vaccinated for the same. If you see any signs and symptoms of infection in your animal as well, visit the veterinarian as soon as possible. Another very important thing is you can avoid a lot of foodborne infection by taking care of preparing the food safely, like cleaning your hands before you start cooking, cleaning the utensils and surfaces well, separating raw meat and other raw foodstuffs, cooking them to safer temperatures, and whatever leftovers are there, you refrigerate them and consume them within its shelf life time period. Do not consume stale food. That could be one of the reasons of acquiring an infection. Whatever vegetables, fruits are obtained from the market, see that we thoroughly clean them before we consume it. Also, if you are traveling in the country itself or even abroad, be vigilant, be alert. See if there are any infections which are very common in that specific location. So if there are any such infections, take precautionary vaccines before you go there. Check for health alerts which are issued by the government of that specific area. Stick to safe food and drinks. See to it that you are also carrying few medications which are prescribed by a general physician. In case if you suffer from some kind of infection, you would have some medications with you which are prescribed by the GP. Also, you can always have a pre-planned understanding of what are the infections that are common there and what precautions you need to take. So the necessary precautions can be followed even when you are traveling around. Another very important thing is preventing sexually transmitted diseases. Lot of sexually transmitted diseases like HIV infection or gonorrhea, these are all posing resistance towards the medications that were used to treat them. Let me tell you that there is lot of increase in resistance towards medications for gonorrhea and even for HIV infection. And hence, preventing sexually transmitted disease is very, very important. It is important to know that safe sexual practices can protect you from a variety of infections. So those precautionary measures need to be taken. Also, if there has been any unprotected sexual contact, it is very much essential to go for a checkup so that you are aware of any infection that you may have contracted in the process. Prevention is always better than cure. These are some of the steps that we can take in order to avoid infections and also to keep antimicrobial resistance at a bay. There are some more points which we will discuss in the next video, and we will also have a look at what is the national action plan that has been devised by Government of India to deal with antimicrobial resistance. So stay tuned.